I come in the kitchen. You in the kitchen. In the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Morning Dinner Podcast. It's your boy, Key, man.
Chuck, what up?
And today, actually, before we do that, I'm going to actually remember to do the intro.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Morning Dinner Podcast, where we interview entrepreneurs, business owners, hustlers, creatives, and all that good stuff. Today, we have Adam Ivy.
What up?
Adam, you want to let the people know who you are and what you do?
What's going on, guys? Adam Ivy, AdamIvy.com. I am a music producer, entrepreneur, marketing specialist who also is passionate about teaching other music creators how to brand themselves, build their businesses, and all that good stuff online. Sharing the wealth of knowledge.
There we go.
How long have you been doing all that for, man?
So I've been producing music since 2006.
Okay.
Making a living at it since around 2009, 2010, which then led to YouTube, led to figuring out other businesses. Because if you can market yourself enough to make a living making beats for a living in the comfort of your pajama pants, you can figure out how to market anything.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize, not to get right into it, but I didn't realize what I was doing was considered marketing for years.
Yeah.
Until people were like, how do you do your marketing? Where did you go to school for marketing? I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's crazy because I think people don't understand that the new generation of people who were introduced to the internet and we came up with branding yourself, we were thrown into the thick of marketing because everything you did on the internet was your footprint to branding yourself and to kind of introducing the world to you. And because, I mean, even going back to the MySpace days, man,
that's where marketing started.
If you think so?
Yeah, because if you didn't have a custom profile, people didn't take you seriously on MySpace.
Damn, that's true. Yeah, you had to have the music player with the song that auto plays at the beginning. Yeah, and then you had you had to learn how to code low key.
That's it. And then you'd have the background image, then you'd have the header image, and then you'd make sure that it scrolled properly, right?
Can we take a second to appreciate MySpace and what it did for the generation?
Hey,
bro?
I learned a shit ton of coding from that. You know
and
what I
I
mean?
both.
I was like, damn.
It's funny because I started making a living selling beats online through a website called SoundClick. It still exists.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you if you wanted SoundClick. Yeah.
You can still make a ton of money on there. I have personal friends who are still making 5 figures a month on SoundClick. And actually, I would actually recommend producers get back on SoundClick because people have been playing it so long.
Yeah.
As like, oh, that's old. Like, no, there's still a lot of people on.
And what is SoundClick again? It's just a site where you sell music, or
it's essentially a platform like SoundCloud, but more. I mean, anybody can put music on there. I mean, there's every genre from jazz to hip hop to EDM, but music producers found it super helpful because you can do a custom page just like MySpace. It's very similar to the MySpace days where you can have a custom player, you can have a custom bunch of custom tables.
I didn't know all this.
Yeah. So, and the good thing is I learned to, I'm not going to say hack, but I learned to effectively market through the different promotional things that they offer. There was a time where there was other companies selling promotion who would essentially, I don't want to say who would essentially boost you on there a little bit, but however they did it, you would rank higher in the top 10. And for the longest time, the top 10, top 25 were the guys making money.
Yeah.
So that's how I started making money.
Yeah, because let's say you were like a local rapper or something, you would go on SoundClick
and he'd be the first one.
You would type hip hop instrumentals, and then whoever was doing the most business or whatever, they'd get pushed to the top. You go to the website, you lease 3 beats for $100 or something like that. Yeah.
So you were in the marketing game.
Yeah, before
forever, man.
I didn't know it was marketing. Really,
That's crazy. Yeah.
Real quick, we might have to have you come up a little microphone, just a little bit.
Oh yeah.
There we
no
go.
problem.
There we go.
I'm right here.
You can actually move the mic towards you too.
I mean, I can project my voice too, but I just don't want to clip.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Damn.
Yeah.
He did that.
Hey, bro, these are not $1,000 microphones. You can't touch the.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. SoundClick is because I remember I used to record music, and back in the day, SoundClick was the only website that was really like a good resource for going and finding music. And it wasn't even just for producers, because artists could upload their music and you could download on there too.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, this is before the time where you can actually use like what's it called, Lime Links, or like those websites where you could put your song on a server and then people can download it.
Right. Yeah, like the direct download links and stuff. SoundClick,
Mediafire,
and Hawkshare and all that.
Hawkshare, bro. Yes, we're hitting the whole demographic. He's bringing
it back. This should just be like an early 2000s episode.
Wait, so you said around 2006 you started your YouTube channel?
No, so in 2006 I started producing.
Right.
So I'm not the type of kid who started producing when I was 16. Like,
okay.
I played trumpet in high school. Like I was a nerd. Like I played piano. My grandmother was an organist. My dad was a DJ. My mom was a violin player. Like I grew up with music, but I never had a passion. Like my passion all through high school, because of my dad and my were cars. I worked on cars. I've had, no lie, over 70 cars. I've owned 70 because in high school I would flip them. I would buy a car for $1,200.
So you've had that hustler mentality for a while.
I was literally about to say the same thing. That hustler mentality. That's crazy.
Well, what's been your best flip? If you don't mind.
So I don't have one best flip, but I will say this. I started with a 1993 Mazda MX-3 that I bought for $900.
Okay.
And I ended up with a twin turbo 300ZX that I paid like 16 grand for.
Wow.
So I went from it's not an instant thing, but if you take 900 and then you flip it into 1700, you take the 17, you buy something for 16, spend a couple $100 on detailing the interior, like basic stuff.
But see, I could respect that so much because a lot of cats, they say like, oh, back in the day you couldn't do stuff like that, but you were doing things like that. It was easier to do it back then. What I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
I was
no complaints.
I started doing that when I was 15 or 16, and I would try not to register the cars. I would just tell them like, oh, I bought it for my girlfriend. I don't want to put it in my name because, and then I would just flip it. I would never legally own it.
Right.
I would drive it around for a week or whatever.
Now, is there a reason for that, or is that like a
I would have to pay taxes on it.
Smart.
So you can tell them like you don't have to get it registered, or you just be like, oh, they're gonna pay the registration.
The thing is, there's a window right now. It might be 48 hours. It might be a few days. I don't remember what it was back then. But if I bought a vehicle on a Sunday or Saturday, well, the DMV is not open Sunday. Legally, I could drive it because I have a bill of sale. If I would be pulled over, which happened a couple times, I would have the title in my glove compartment and I'd sign it before the cop got up to my window. I'd say, oh, officer, I just bought this yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'd never date it. And then he was like, well, there's no date on here. I can write that here if you want me to. Like I just bought it. Yes. Kind of plead ignorance a little bit. But
very nice.
Yeah. Well, the thing is if I bought a $900 car or a $20,000 car, and then I have to pay taxes and tag on everything, and then transfer fees.
Yeah, it gets a little harder to flip.
It's much harder. It's a lot harder. But, I mean, that's. I was working I had so many jobs in high school. I worked at Best Buy. I worked at a tanning salon. I worked at East Bay in a shoe store called Rogan's Shoes. I worked all these different jobs. But growing up, I watched my dad hustle because my dad fractured his back in a car accident when I was an infant. So he was on disability and he needed to hustle to make extra money because even on disability, you didn't make much money. So he was, I'm not going to say limited by his mobility, like a commercial or something, but he had a Ford Bronco with a plow on it. So every winter we had 5 or 6 different apartment complexes contracted, and he would just make all these cash jobs. And I mean, I'd watch him DJ. He was a DJ. He'd DJ weddings and his parties and like everything you could think of, from hip hop to classic rock to polka.
So you would say he very well influenced the way you are today.
Yeah, my whole family, my mom, since I can remember, has worked 2 or 3 jobs. We didn't grow up with any money. So if you wanted, I remember to this day when I was in 2nd grade, my parents would buy, you know what kudos bars are? Like little granola bars. Anyway, they're like just a little granola bar. That's what they are. So my parents would buy them from the grocery store on sale or whatever, and I'd go to school and I'd sell them for 50 cents a piece.
Nice.
So my parents would be like, how are you coming home with money? And I'm like, well, I've been selling these kudos bars.
Yeah. That's what I used to do with Mexican candy, bro. Because people would think you bought it in Mexico, but really there's just this like little corner.
That's what I always thought.
Around the house. No. I mean, we used to go to Mexico all the time and buy candy there. Yeah. But there was a lady who would import it from Mexico, and she would have it in her store, and then I would just take it to the school, and it was like, oh, you're buying all these ethnic candies, and I would sell them for like $1, bro. I would pay like $4 or $5 for the bag.
Yeah, for everything.
But then you'd make $40-$50 off of it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day,
that's crazy. Like that reminds me when I was real little, probably like 1st grade, 2nd grade, we lived in this little apartment complex, and outside were landscaping rocks, these little white landscaping rocks. Well, I would find the smallest ones, and I would take them and I'd sell them to kids at school. Say, these are crystals.
Damn.
Seriously. Yeah, I'd be like, these are crystals. Seriously. And they were like teeny, so they're like, oh, cool. And I would sell them for like 50, well, like whatever. I don't remember my pricing structure back then.
Bro, so you were the original pet rock guy, man.
You know what? I wouldn't go that far. But that was a good time. The thing is, my parents didn't have any money. They had enough to put food on our table. We had more love than money. Yeah. You know, we had hand-me-down clothes and stuff, but I'm the oldest of 3, so I didn't get hand-me-down clothes. I got the non-brand Kmart, stuff. And my parents would cut my hair. Like I had a hair helmet up until the time I could afford to get my own haircut for the most part. I'm not trying to talk down on my parents because I love them to death. But when I was 12 and a half, I took a paper route that I had for three years. In 3 years, I missed 4 days. And by the time I was done in that 3.5 years, I had acquired 5 different paper routes that like would butt up against mine. This kid would get too old and he'd get a real job. And then the guy would be like, hey, do you want his route too? Sure.
Yeah.
At the end of that 3.5 years, I had, on Christmas Day, I had 362 papers.
Yeah.
And I was making $385 a month as a 14-year-old.
Right.
That's crazy.
You learned all about territory. You learned about expanding.
Work ethic, really.
Yeah.
And then, 360 people on a Sunday for Christmas.
Yeah.
At Christmas time, I made like $500 in tips.
Right.
As a 13, 14-year-old. So I bought a Nintendo 64. I bought Tommy Hilfiger everything because that was the thing back then, although it almost is now again. Nautica, Fat Farm. Like, I started, it kind of sucked actually because kids started thinking I was the rich kid.
Yeah.
And they didn't realize that I would go home and I had to have all the papers delivered within an hour and a half of getting home from school. That's why I did so poorly in school.
Right.
I was like a D, C, and F student because I didn't prioritize homework. I prioritized the hustle.
Right.
And so that's been day one.
Wow.
No, I have to ask.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I've ever even read a newspaper about it, to be honest. How do you get involved with the paper trade of like actually being a paper boy of like delivering paper?
Back then it was easy. They literally had advertisements in the paper. Want to make an extra $85 or like whatever it was.
Okay.
And so looking for paper, and then they would tell you kind of the territory.
Yeah.
Like between Camp Phillips Road and Ross Abbott, like whatever the paper route area would be.
Did you have to do that in the snow and all that too?
Oh yeah, every day.
Damn,
every day, man.
Crazy.
Yeah. My dad would help me when there was like a blizzard. He would have a little truck or whatever, and he'd throw the papers around. He'd start at the end of the block. I'd grab enough for the houses. I'd run down the street delivering them because he's not going to let me in and out of the car 50 times a block. But
on average, how long did a paper route take?
It got bigger and bigger and bigger. So when it first started, I could probably finish in 30 minutes. Yeah. 45 minutes. And then
you said like 5 routes?
I had like 4 or 5 routes. Man.
So it's 30 minutes like per route.
Well, no, it all depends on how the block is set up, right? If you're on a cul-de-sac, it takes longer because you got to go down and then back.
Right.
If you're just going down a street, you go both sides down, and it's kind of like being a UPS driver as a 13-year-old. Like, which way is the most efficient?
Yeah.
So, at the end, I think it took me about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on weather and all sorts of stuff. But
and that was once a week, or was that
every day?
Every day,
7 days a week. They would drop off the papers in big bins, and then if it was raining, snowing, you would have to bag them yourself. And they would drop off just this big stack of these really thin.
I remember those.
So you would have to fold. My hands were constantly just covered in ink. And it was cool though because some of the people on my route, like one guy owned a Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. If you know what that is, it's like a KFC type of deal. And every holiday, he'd give me like a stack of free coupons. So I'd ride my bike there with my buddies, and we'd eat for free. The little things. I was always on my bike. That was my life. I took the bus to school like 2 times in my entire life. I fell asleep on a bus the second day of my second grade year, and I woke up like in the middle of the country, like in the middle country, not United States, but the middle of Wisconsin, rural Wisconsin, to the bus driver being like, what happened? Like I was on the back sleeping, and that scared me so much that I always walked or rode my bike to school up until I got my driver's license.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, so
why was it so far? Like, why was it in the middle of the country? The bus.
It's rural Wisconsin, dude.
Oh,
like,
so that's how it is.
Some routes.
Just to let people know, you're not from Vegas. You're from Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm not from Vegas. I'm from Central Wisconsin originally. Now I live in Orlando, Florida for like 10 years now.
Oh, nice.
How do you
Since
like
2007.
It
it's okay. No matter where you live, you have to make the most of it.
Yeah,
of course.
100%.
There's parts of Orlando that are just a toilet, and there's parts of Orlando that are pretentious. There's parts of Orlando that I need to learn.
Every city has it.
Yeah, I need to learn Spanish to really get. It's the type of thing where I love it because it's a melting pot, and there's so many different cultures, and it really helped me break out of maybe like a naive mindset when I was from Wisconsin, like where everybody's friendly and everyone knows each other, and it's just coming down to Orlando. It not only hardened me a little bit, but I think my naivete helped me. Because when I first moved to Orlando, I moved to the hood. I was like one of 2 white guys in an entire apartment complex.
Yeah.
I like 2 or 3 times people tried to home invade my apartment with my buddy, and you kind of learn the ways of the world and how to operate. But at the same time, the lady that lived downstairs that sold drugs off the porch all day, like she was super nice to me. She probably thought I was going to snitch on her if she wasn't, but she'd bring me fish dinners and chicken. Like
That's the thing, though. When you move to somewhere new, you don't know where you're gonna be in the hood.
Oh,
you learn
right.
You're in the hood after being there for a certain amount of time. You know what I mean? Because when we moved to Vegas, like we were on the ghetto side of Vegas, and then we learned that we were in the ghetto side. And then we moved somewhere that was a little less ghetto. Ultimately, we ended up being in the most ghetto, and now we're in the least amount of ghetto. Yeah. But still, like it's a learning curve to learn a city where the ghettos are at.
I was wondering. I was going to ask you about that. I thought it was a little redundant that your neighborhood has 3 sets of gates that you have to go through. I was like, man, this is nice as hell. I'm gonna have to get a grappling hook to get up on the top of the big ass houses around here.
All right. So I don't mean to cut you off.
Of course not.
But you were on this path of you started producing music in 2006, right?
2006.
At what age and year did you start actually like using YouTube as a tool?
I started my first YouTube channel in 2009.
Okay.
Just to try to connect with people because I didn't really know a whole lot of people in the music realm.
Right.
I was trying to get my name out there. I was super wet behind the ears. I had never really sold any music before. I mean, I did personally in Wisconsin a little bit when I first started making music. I moved to Orlando in 2007, not knowing anybody. I had never been to Florida before.
Yeah.
I moved in with a friend of a friend with $3,400 in my pocket that I made from selling a motorcycle that I had. Had a 94 Nissan Altima and everything I could fit in it. That's all I brought to Orlando with me. And, from getting down to Orlando, it really kind of opened my eyes to the fact that, okay, there's a little bit more of a hustle mentality here and there's a market for beats and instrumentals and stuff.
Yeah.
I find it so funny now looking back. I could have made just as big of an impact because I'm an introvert, dude. I do not go out. I don't drink. I don't smoke. Like I'm a nerd.
Right.
So I sit in front of computers all day. I learn marketing. I make beats. I try to have fun with it.
Because I think that's how I first heard about you.
It's YouTube?
It wasn't in 2009, but it was definitely like, I want to say like 2016, 17. That's when I first heard about you. And it might have been one of your videos that went viral. I'm not sure which one, but that's how I first heard about you. Okay. And then we connected through Instagram, and I was like, hey, dude, you're just pretty tight. Yeah. Man. And then I started realizing that you not only did music, but you did like mentoring courses. You did your clothing line. You did a whole bunch of things that it was very geared towards a hustle state of mentality. You know what I mean? Where you weren't just doing one thing, but you were utilizing your brand and everything to kind of like use the internet to your advantage.
YouTube has changed my life. I'm going to put that out there first and foremost. If I would have never got on YouTube, I wouldn't be here in front of you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars doing marketing jobs for corporations because of YouTube parody I did. If I wouldn't have done the red and yellow parody that went viral, I wouldn't be here.
Wow.
Companies.
What about that John Cena video?
Oh, back when I was in shape.
Hey, bro.
I mean, that took off too. Honestly, brands reach out to me because they see that I'm not afraid to kind of step outside of the box. I'm not afraid to make a fool of myself for the enjoyment of the viewer. And when I first started on YouTube, there's probably 30 or 40 videos that aren't public on YouTube anymore because I tried so many different things. I tried vlogging. I tried a weekly topical news show thing that flopped that didn't get any engagement. And I realized it's too vague. I need to do something that's very specific and for a reason with purpose. Parodies are fun. I love parodies. I started doing parodies because when I was growing up, I got made fun of so much because I was this little skinny nerd with a huge hair, head of hair. Yeah. And I'd get beat up and made fun of. What I would go home and I'd listen to Weird Al. I'd listen to Adam Sandler CDs. I'd listen to, George Carlin, albums and stuff like that. And having that sense of humor and being able to go home and laugh and have my brothers in my room and do kind of like funny shows where I would lip sync the routine that I could because I knew it so much, or I would be silly and stupid to some Weird Al song or something and that make them laugh. That's why I started doing parodies, because if I can make somebody laugh, if I can make somebody's day suck a little bit less and look like an idiot, I don't care. Right. Because that's going to bring somebody enjoyment. I'm not going to say super deep and I'm like Mother Teresa of YouTube or anything like that. But at the end of the day, if somebody was depressed, and I've had people reach out to me and say, look, I was super depressed. I hated my job. I worked at McDonald's, and that red and yellow video or the other video that you put out or whatever, that was hilarious. And
so would you say that your parody videos were the first step into you realizing how to give people value?
Yes and no, because I did some beat making videos, and the beat making videos did help in building the brand. It helped in getting traffic to my SoundClick, to my MySpace. And through that, it was a good vehicle to build my Adam Ivy brand as a music producer. And there's so many people that would subscribe to my channel for that, but then that was nothing compared to the people that would subscribe to the funny stuff. And then that's when I started understanding from a marketing side that emotional triggers are so important
100%.
in whatever you're doing. If you can't get somebody to feel, you're not going to, the saying like, oh, I feel you, like that's important.
Right.
Because people don't share mediocre content that, oh, that's cool. They don't share that's cool content. Right. They share something that makes them smile, something that makes them laugh, that makes them cry, gives them goosebumps, right?
It has to be something that resonates and it makes them feel it's theirs as much as it's yours, right?
100%.
Okay.
They have to feel like they're part of whatever, because they have to immediately relate to that. So the parodies were a way I would read the comments and be like, yo, this is hilarious. I work at McDonald's. Or, yo, like white boy can rap. Like something urged them enough to leave a comment.
Right.
People don't comment on boring things. Yeah. Well, they'll just hate on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because hate comments are the easiest thing to do.
So easy, man.
But for somebody to leave something that is not negative, it's like you did something right.
They're taking a lot out their day to do that for sure.
I get a lot of comments now, and I'm super blessed and fortunate to have the audience that I have. But a lot of comments come through that I see notifications on my phone and be like, this is the first comment I've ever left on YouTube. And to me, that is like very powerful, because if I evoked something in them to say, I need to interact with him, I need to put something out in the universe, even if he doesn't read it, is big deal. Right. That's like standing up in a crowd, because a positive comment is something that can be ridiculed. A negative comment, people skim over that because it's so normal. We're so desensitized to negative comments that people don't stand up for them much anymore. And I have a lot of audience members that will kind of go in on somebody if they're being a little rude to me, but I don't care anymore.
Right.
Yeah, I've been told that I look like I'm autistic. I've been told that, I'm stuffy all the time, which I am.
You pretty much heard it all at this point.
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that will hate you because of your race. There's people that are going to hate you because of your sex, your age, your height, your weight. Like, people are going to hate something about you without knowing you because it's easy.
Oh, yeah.
They want to feel like they exist through your work. That's why they leave a comment, because they're behind you. A comment is a follower. A comment is someone who's following your lead, that is influenced by you in one way, shape, or form, even if it's negative, because they're not the one doing the video. They came to you. You didn't go to them for the negativity. Right. So you just got to roll with it. It's like
you can literally put all this time and energy into a video, and then they get equally just as much shine by leaving a comment and then having it voted up or whatever.
Well, they'll go back to the video 3 times a day to see if anybody upvoted it or commented on it.
Yeah.
They get that's their content creation.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, but it is what it is. Like, I don't delete negative comments like that unless they're really hurtful or hurtful to a group of people.
Right.
Because it is what it is. And I leave my old videos up from 2009. They're uploaded in 2010 because I changed my channel name. Yeah. So I had to take those videos and take them to a different YouTube channel. But they were, even in the videos, it's like it's 2009. And so I leave those up so people can see that I wasn't good on camera when I started that.
Oh, and I was going to ask that, like, how did you build the confidence, just for anybody who's watching too, probably, and me, to like speak in front of a camera and all that?
I realized that I had audience members and people watching the videos that I would do that didn't have anybody else. They didn't have a friend or a family member to tell them like what they were doing mattered. And so making eye contact is so important, just like making eye contact with you guys, that I was like, the camera lens is their eyes. I need to talk to them in the camera lens and be able to present no different than I'm talking to you guys. Yeah. I need to be able to look at the camera as if it's a friend that just doesn't talk back, and be able to have that conversation with them, so that there's no connection with somebody that's looking off to see if they look good in the screen next to you. You have that disconnect. So when you're on YouTube, whether you're not looking at the camera and you're just doing a beat making video or a tutorial, you have to talk. Like, I talk to the camera like I would talk to my brother, like I would talk to my best friend, like I would talk to even like a third grader. You have to connect. A third grader is not going to care if you're sitting there on your phone, like, oh, what's up? You want to play? Okay. Like, they want engagement. Yeah. They want to feel like they matter. They want to feel like they're part of whatever you're doing, right? And that they're important. I have a theory that everybody in the world, their main focus in life passively is feeling like they matter, feeling like they're important in one way, shape, or form. That's why people leave negative comments. Who are you leaving a negative comment? Well, I want to feel important. Right. I'm important enough that my hate should matter to you. That's what they're saying through the comment. And that's the thing. Whether, we're doing this, whether we're doing a vlog. Right. Who cares that I'm at Arby's eating a half-pound roast beef sandwich, nobody cares. But to those who do, it does matter.
Well, first of all, don't ever go to Arby's.
Yeah. Why?
Bro, I've never had a good experience with Arby's, man. I don't know what it is, and they're so nice. Because the last time I went was on my birthday, bro. It was on my birthday.
You
had
like, birthday Arby's,
and they were like, no, and then they were like, it's your birthday, and they gave me like a free little dessert. The dessert was good, but the food, I was like, man,
I don't know, that roast beef sandwich with the dip. That's pretty good.
Did they hold your reservation?
You're like, no, we randomly walked in there because the place I was going to was still under construction.
Man.
So, but yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to get off topic, but you said Arby's and it triggered me.
He got mad. He was like, Arby's.
You just effectively ruined the possibility of getting sponsored by Arby's. Now, but
okay.
it is what it is.
You know what, man? You can always retract statements.
Hey, you know what? Change his mind.
You know who does have a good burger?
Habit Burger Grill.
Yeah. Oh, I just had Habit last week. Yeah,
bro.
There's one in Orlando. It's good. It's solid. They have a char burger.
Oh yeah.
You can get char burger with bacon, avocado with cheese.
Yeah. Have you tried those? What are they called?
Tempura green beans.
Yeah.
Damn, he knew right away because he said the little hat.
That's the universal sign for tempura green beans. You go up to you're like, yeah, yes, I'd like the. Okay, how many orders? Would you like sauce with that?
All right. Getting back on topic.
Yeah, man.
Would you say you found like your direction as far as branding yourself on YouTube and what kind of content you like to produce for YouTube?
The greatest thing about YouTube is I realized early that even though I sucked, I had the balls to do it. Yeah. Because so many people be like, how do you do on YouTube? Or how do you get on YouTube? I want to have a YouTube channel. I want to do that too.
Right.
You tell them what gear you use. You tell them what software you use. You tell them it's easy. Tell them to get into it.
They don't do anything.
They would buy the camera and never do videos.
Right.
That's the greatest thing about it. Why do people leave comments? Because it's easy.
Yeah.
Faceless.
Yes.
Why do people not do YouTube?
Because
they're afraid to be on camera.
Yep.
They're afraid to, I might have a pimple. Oh man. I'm not attractive.
Right.
I can't grow a luscious beard like you. My wardrobes, I look fat. Like, whatever. My skin's oily. My hair's greasy.
Or I don't have the right equipment.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's too dark. It's gray. I'm going to wait. I've met so many people that have told me that they're going to wait till they have, I have very, very high standards. So I'm going to wait until, I'm going to wait until the camera comes down in price a little bit. It's overpriced. It's like you could have.
Comes down $200.
Yeah, right. And then they'd buy it and then they'd be like, this is old technology. I'm going to wait till the new camera comes out.
That's the thing is that there's always a million excuses to not do something. Always, bro.
It's easier to make excuses for sure.
The thing about it is we live in an era where I could pick up my phone and have a higher quality video in 5 minutes, start to finish, than somebody in 2001, 1998 would have with $50,000 worth of equipment. Yeah. And people overlook that. Oh, I need to get the new 5D Mark 7. It's supposed to come out in 2020. I'm just going to wait, and then I'm going to get huge real fast. But they have a phone that shoots 4K slow motion in their pocket. Yeah, it blows my mind.
That's the thing. Like people don't understand that they were taking pictures of the Himalaya mountains in like 2000 with a 9-megapixel camera. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And now we have a 42 megapixel camera. You have you have the same camera in your phone.
That's right.
You know.
And the thing is, to get back to your question, I realized that was kind of my unfair advantage because I stumbled through it long enough to realize that my competition's not doing this. Like, no matter how good they are, people won't find them.
Right.
I could take this platform over. Even back in 2010 or 11, I think that's when YouTube, and I could be wrong here for those fact checkers, that they officially became the second largest search engine in the world. Right. It overtook like Yahoo or whoever. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I think it was 2012 that I got my first check from YouTube. And I'm like, oh, I can make money doing this. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can get brands that want to pay me to like review products and they're telling me to be honest about it. So I don't have to have like a moral dilemma. Like, okay, game on. Like affiliate marketing, like all this different stuff. And I have like a moral compass where I've done a couple videos in the past when I was first getting started for the money. Right. Oh, we'll give you $400 to review this and tell it this. And I'd do that. And I'd feel like such a scumball that I'd get in trouble with the brand because I took the video down.
Oh, okay.
I would take the video down. So I kind of like broke their trust. But I was like, I'm telling my audience to go buy a $20 snack box that has like $3 worth of snacks that you could probably get for free if you just emailed the company and said, hey, I'd like to try that new flavor of pizza goldfish.
Or you just go to Costco and get the free samples.
That's the thing. That's the thing, man. And, integrity is so important
100%.
in this. In marketing, because in marketing, what are you doing? You're influencing a person's decision through storytelling, through persuasion, like whatever. And if you lose their trust, if you break that, if you take that for granted, and then you just do scumball things to make money, it won't last.
Short term is not the way.
How many videos came up a few years ago? It's like, I could teach you how to make this much money in 6 weeks. Like, those people aren't around for the most part.
Yeah.
They come and go in cycles, so with YouTube, especially to help promote my music and stuff like that, I was trying to come at it from a different angle. I said, okay, I could do beat making videos and stuff like that, but at the same time, parodies are bringing people in. And who watch parodies? Everybody. But there's still music creators that are watching parodies because they're listening to music. It's related. So I have a lot of customers over the years that found me through a parody and then ended up being a customer of mine buying beats from me. So it kind of ramped up back in 2016 when I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start doing marketing and business videos and just teach people basic marketing. I'm going to teach people how I built up a brand, how I sell music online, how I engage with audience members, how I, build a fan base or email marketing list or whatever. I'm like, I'm going to do a few videos like that. And honestly, it was just lazy content. I could put up a camera and stare at the camera for 10, 15 minutes and just talk about it because I do it. So it's not like I'm making stuff up. It's just like, okay, let's talk about email marketing. Okay, well, first thing you need is a list. How do you start a list? You just jump into it. It's
See,
just
and
like
that's the thing is those questions that you just said.
Yeah.
What is email marketing? How does it work? Where do I go? Like, those questions are where people stop at.
Yeah.
And then you said one thing that was very, very important just now. You said there was this whole market on YouTube that nobody was messing with you because nobody would do it, right?
Right.
Nobody would make videos about themselves and how they started the journey, how they got there.
Exactly.
And it kind of it reminds me of how you see so many businesses that are not necessarily, like, even here in Vegas, like, there's a lot of businesses that are not necessarily the greatest, whatever, but they know the business, that they know how to market themselves. They know how to, you know what I mean? Like, It's not just like, oh, I do this because I like doing it. It's more than that. You have to teach yourself. You have to discipline yourself.
Yeah. And then that's a great point. One reason why I started doing the marketing and business videos is kind of from a spiteful place, because I was sick of seeing people cheat the system. And I was making enough money outside of music, because I firmly believe since day one, you got to have multiple hustles. You got to diversify your income.
All right.
So I was making money doing consultations as a marketing expert or whatever for companies. I was doing commercials for small businesses like dentist's office, veterinarian's offices, like doing, animations and doing graphic design and basic website design and stuff. Like, I was making enough money there where I'm like, you know what? I'm so sick of watching these people do how to sell beats online, how to grow your brand online. And I'm like, it's complete. Can I swear on this podcast?
Yeah, okay. Go for it.
I'm like, it's complete bullshit. They're not telling you the secrets. They're literally giving you false information to keep you away from being a competitor.
Right.
I'm like, I don't care if I don't make any more money off music 3 years from now because I'm giving away the secrets.
Right.
But you saying that you got to buy promo through this asshole that's just botting accounts is not, half of these experts on YouTube. And I'm not, there is a lot of great information, a lot of really genuine information and people on there, but there's some fucking snakes on YouTube who are like, you need to do this. And then in their bio, it's like, I have a media company. No, you motherfucker, you bot. You pay for bots to bot these people's account, including their own. Yeah. To buy I have 100,000 subscribers or 100,000 followers on Instagram and I get 20,000 comments. Like, no, bitch, it's not real. It's not real. There's so much facade.
Bro, it's gotten crazy in the last couple of years, man.
If you don't teach people what's real, they'll never know, and they'll chase a facade that they think is the truth. Yeah. And that's dangerous. Yep. That's going to, the people complain about millennials. Well, imagine all these people doing marketing and they're all inner circling with no one. Yeah. Their numbers are fake. If you have 40,000 Instagram followers and you're getting 5 organic likes on your shit's broken. Yeah. Obviously Instagram only shows Instagram's algorithm only shows your post to 10% of a segmented audience. And it hurts you. It does hurt. Yeah. But some of these people are, and I know them because they've called me and told me their strategy. They're hundreds of dollars a month in on keeping the lie alive. Right. From at the end of the day, there's people oh, that's all that matters is numbers. It's like, does it?
Right.
You might make some money now, but when you're 45 as a manager at Best Buy, you might rethink your strategy back when you were doing it on, when you were Insta famous.
Right.
So doing the marketing and business videos, especially in the music realm, I started getting a kick out of it because I could see the people that were getting really annoyed that I was just telling it like it is.
Yeah.
And I don't give a fuck because I'm talented enough that I can make $100,000 doing marketing a year.
Right.
I can make $100,000 doing a
You're
clothing
not afraid
line.
of the competition.
I'm not ever going to fail because the hustle gene is so strong that if all of my music, like for instance, this is something I've never told publicly. Right now, I only have 20% hearing in my left ear.
Oh,
because
wow.
my Eustachian tube is completely effed up. I have a ruptured eardrum.
Did that come from like listening to music too loudly? Or?
No, I got a really, really bad sinus infection that turned into an ear infection. And then both ears, like I couldn't hear out of both ears for close to 2 months. Like literally I could like snap and it was muffled. And this one cleared up. My right ear cleared up, but my left one still only 20, maybe 25% hearing.
Yeah.
So I can lay on my right side when I go to sleep and somebody could be talking to me. And it's just like,
Yeah.
it's bad. And I was going to have surgery in December. Now I'm so busy. It's like,
is it like a 50-50 chance or is it 100% going to fix it?
It's going to fix it because they're going to install tubes.
I was gonna say in the meantime, just pan it to the
No. It's, you know what? That's one reason I've stayed so busy doing marketing and business videos. I'm still doing music because you learn to adapt to a mix. You're like, okay, I can still mix, based on experience and stuff and have it. I have friends that'll reference it and stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is fine.
Wow.
Especially because of presets. Over the years, I have like everything in sessions where I know what it sounds like,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when I was in first grade, I was legally deaf in first grade.
Oh, wow.
I had both of my eardrums had ruptured from ear infections because I've always had issues. And so they put little teeny tiny plastic tubes in my ears. That's how they fixed them. They let the eardrum healed and the tubes allowed flow of audio and even air and stuff through from this sinus cavity out to the ears. Anyway, not trying to make this podcast all boring, but
no.
That's
This is
super
dope. I never knew that, bro.
Yeah.
And
So,
then to kind of know that about you, like knowing what you've accomplished, because a lot of people are like, oh, I got an ear infection. I guess I can't do music anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just
good
such
to hear. You have to hear
man.
this
There's
type
no
of stuff.
excuses. There's no excuses, man.
no, and that's the thing is like, okay, my hearing is not the greatest right now. What can I do to stay busy? And just kind of step away from music a little bit because I'm still getting paid on stuff I've done and I'm getting paid from other things I do. I don't need to hustle 24/7 to try to make more money selling beats online. And I've already established relationships where I could send them stuff and I have a catalog built up of things that I never released that I have. It's like fresh content to the world that might be a year old to me.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm going to do business and marketing videos and just teach the secret sauce because in my opinion, I don't have competitors. Nobody can make my music. Right? Obviously, music can be generic and you can follow styles, and I'm not the greatest producer of all times by any means. I don't even think I'm in the top 50% overall, but my music is my own. I don't follow any other marketing and music guy on YouTube. I don't watch any other videos. I don't subscribe to that.
Right.
There might be a couple actually that are buddies of mine that I do just based off support and they have good information, but I don't watch them to learn.
Yeah.
This sounds kind of ignorant, but I don't watch other people to learn because a lot of them are regurgitating content, regurgitating what they heard Gary
Vee
say.
You'll start sounding like them.
That's it. Same with music.
Yep.
I don't listen. I listen to new music, but I try not to take influence from it. You want your music to stay current and stay relevant,
right?
But you have to have your own style. Unless you just want to. I mean, you could be a copycat. I mean, there's plenty of people making $100,000 a year as copycat producers and artists and all that good stuff.
Well, when you say copycat producers, do you mean like somebody who makes like a Drake type beat? That's
a whole different story because the type beats thing went from that to now it's just a pretty decent strategy on like YouTube or whatever. They'll say like Drake type beat, Lil Uzi Vert type beat. Like it's really just giving the artist that's in that vein an easier access to that type of beat. I used to kind of publicly talk down on that, but over the years I understand that there's a place for it. Now, do you have to do that all the time? No, but some of the bigger names have made that so popularized that artists now go and they say, well, I kind of sound like Post Malone. So
or
Post Malone type beat or Khalid or like whatever.
Right.
And so I get it. It's a marketing strategy.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to hate their hustle. Yeah, man. I mean, there's so much opportunity out there that it's not even worth trying to compare yourself to who you would deem your competitors.
Right.
That just takes away from creating. That just takes away from trying to push your brand forward. And
right.
you know, the whole branding thing is kind of played out right now. Like, oh, you got to be your brand. Like, but at the end of the day, it's true.
Right.
Everything you do online is either your own brand, or even if you're not a business, people look at it like it is.
And that's the thing, is like, you know, with things like Instagram, you know what I mean? You look at it, and after doing it for so long, like doing it 7 days a week, like there's no break in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, oh man, I really hate this part of being an artist, but it's like, that's the part that you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as much as you may not want it, like, you know, that's 50% of the business. You know what I mean? Like, or like, for example, I just started doing Facebook ads for my photography, right?
Yeah.
For like booking weddings and quinceañeras and things like that. And it's like, it's something that I don't really care about, because that's not, you know, I would just rather be out there shooting. You know?
Right.
I don't really care about learning about targeting, learning about analytics and about, like, you know, interest and all that stuff. I don't really care about that, but you have to learn if you want to stay in the game.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you don't learn about it and you don't really care about it till you're able to buy a Lamborghini cash because of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the thing. Like learning how to install your Pixel and get, you know, I mean, the thing about Facebook ads, it's really creepy but amazing at the same time for marketers right now. Like, I could target a 32-year-old mother who has 2 jobs, 3 kids, and loves Oreo cookies. Like, I could literally target it down to that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, and the thing is about Facebook ads, people go on there and boost posts, waste a bunch of money. Yeah. They don't want to learn about.
I didn't know that was wasting money until Chuck told me.
Yeah.
The thing is, for some people, it might help get likes. It might help get some engagement.
Right.
But overall, like, if you don't know what dark posts are, if you don't know how to run your Facebook ad manager correctly, and have A/B testing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Is that like split testing?
Split testing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You're not really that serious about it. I say this all the time. You have to crawl through the shit until you could stand up and enjoy the life that people weren't willing to crawl through the shit for.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you're not handed it on a silver platter like some rich kid or trust fund baby.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to become higher middle class into the lower upper class, into the, you know, parties that all the rich guys, and like become one of them in a way, you're going to have to do some extraordinary shit to get out of the cycle that your whole family has kind of brought you up in.
Right.
Because if I would have stayed in Wisconsin, you know, bless everybody that's there, I'd be working in a factory somewhere, making $14-15 an hour, and being super excited to go home on a Friday to do nothing on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Go watch a Green Bay Packer game, which is great. It's fun. But when all you have to look forward to is 2 weeks vacation.
Yeah.
And that vacation can only cost $1,000 because you don't make enough to set money aside.
Yeah.
I can't live that life. Like, nothing against people that can.
Yeah.
I'm not put on this world to stay in that cycle. I was put on this earth to break the cycle and show my family, show people where I'm from, what's possible. You know, the kid who barely graduated high school with a 1.7 GPA and then went to college for like 3 months and dropped out. Like, first of all, any college that takes a kid with a 1.7 GPA is probably going to rake you over the coals. I think I was 10 grand deep in like 2 months. I was like, ooh, like, no.
I always tell Chuckley, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're stoked to go work like you know, at a minimum wage job, and then you love coming home, and then you love like just doing nothing with your family, like
definitely.
That's 100%, because at the end of the day, you're gonna have a better day than somebody who's killing themselves and they make millions. You know what I mean? Because money is just a tool.
Yeah, it's
money
it's a tool.
It's not everything. It completely depends on you as a person. If you're happy in your situation, no one can tell you, you know, you should go out there and do better. Like, if you're happy with where you're at, stay there.
Well, you know, the one thing I think that society, not to get super deep here, but the one thing that society kind of brainwashes us in school is that if you don't have money, you're supposed to work to feel good to buy things.
Yeah. Debt slave.
So you'll work 2 jobs for what? So you can go buy a Yeti cooler that's $300 that you're going to use twice a year?
Yeah.
Are you going to go buy some lawn ornaments to make your house look pretty? You're going to go buy a new bird bath that's $200 when you make $10 an hour?
Right.
Like, the priorities that we're brainwashed into thinking are triggers for success. Oh, he owns a house. Okay, well, you can't afford it. Like, what's the point? How can you brag about that when you go out and you're getting a 10% interest rate on a house that you can't afford because you signed up for a rent to own program, just so you can appease your parents, just so your aunt can be happy and proud of you when she comes for Christmas dinner, when you're putting Christmas dinner on credit cards and they don't know about it.
Yeah,
like, you can't live like that. You have to struggle. You have to sacrifice in order to level up. if you're not willing to take 5 steps back to possibly get 1 step ahead of the max where your family was at, I'm not saying everybody's struggling.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people. I grew up with a ton of middle class people that are fine, and they're super awesome middle class right
living
now.
paycheck to paycheck though, but happy.
I don't know though, man. There's definitely been an uprising lately in like the whole mental health. People getting depressed more. I don't know. Maybe I'm just noticing because I'm getting older too. But like, there's just been a whole wave ever since like I got out of high school. Where it's like it's now or maybe it's just because of social media and how social media has let us
like everybody's looking at somebody's life and being like, oh, my life's not like that.
It's social media, and unfortunately, I think that as a marketer, it's something that it's kind of dark side of marketing.
Yeah,
it's the marketing where you paint a picture to a person that isn't. This sounds horrible, but there's a lot of people out there that are born to be a number 5.
Yeah,
they're not born to be a number 1.
Right.
And we need people that are number 5s and number 10s. Otherwise, your trash doesn't get picked up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's so much piss on the theater floor that you're going to slip in from the moment you cross the threshold.
Right.
There needs to be people that do that. There needs to be people that enjoy teaching, because teaching is not a glorified profession.
Right.
Neither is an EMT. An EMT makes $11 an hour to save your life. You know what I mean? Like,
wow, I didn't even know that.
A cop can pull you over that went to school for 6 months. And then you got to hire a lawyer that went to school for 12 years and pay him $10,000 to get you off something that was unjustly put on you. Like there's things in life that don't make sense.
Yeah.
And you just have to accept that, because if you go through life bitching about it, you're just part of the system. Mm-hmm. I'm a firm believer that you need to advocate for things that matter to you, but you don't need to waste your life bitching about it.
Right.
It is what it is.
Get real.
And fucking move on.
I like that so much.
That's the thing. I mean, the thing is, I grew up relatively poor. I don't want to say that I was homeless for a while when I was 17. I'm not going to say by choice, but my parents went through a divorce. I wasn't financially stable. My parents split up. There wasn't a place for me at a little moment of time, and my grandparents couldn't. That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But, when you're couch surfing and you're seeing your friends sitting there smoking weed on Friday, Saturday nights, and they're totally cool with that, and they're cool with working at a hardware store. And they're like, oh, maybe, in 2 or 3 years at this projection, I'm going to be an assistant manager, man. I'm going to make a couple dollars more an hour.
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to buy that used Corolla. Like,
it's crazy how hard people work for that extra $2-3.
Dude. And yet they could be taking their skills. They could jump online, and in 6 months, if they really applied themselves,
right,
they could be making more money than their parents.
Well, that's the thing, man. To do something like what you did with taking a risk in yourself, people are not willing to do that much because they are so comfortable with the fact that, like, well, if I quit my job right now, I may not make money for a while.
Yeah.
But if I get my job right now, I'll be able to work every day, and I'll always have that paycheck coming in. You know what I mean? Until it doesn't.
No, I mean, people value the job over the value of themselves.
Yeah.
They look at the job as if they need the job, when in reality, on paper, the job needs them.
Yeah.
They got the job because the job needed somebody.
Right.
And they fit the seat. They don't need the job. They need the money. They need the freedom or the responsibility that's checking off on that box. And don't get me wrong. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with having a day job if you enjoy it, if you get fulfillment, if you learn from it. I mean, I highly recommend a lot of people get day jobs in the field that they're interested in to learn for free and get paid for it.
Well, that, and also to help them fund the things that they got going on in their business. Instead
of, I see so many people, and it kind of bothers me, so many people that are in their early 30s, late 30s, whatever, and they're like, I need to go back to college.
Right.
No, you don't. You don't need to spend $80,000 to get a worthless audio engineering degree.
Hey, man, shut your mouth.
I look straight at you.
Hey. Bro, I was 18. I was not 35, right? I went to the Art Institute. And
the Art Institute is different.
I regret it 100%. But it's only, and it's not because they didn't teach me enough, but it's not anything.
Knew everything too.
It's not anything that I could not have learned from going to Adam Ivy's YouTube channel. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you. On top of that, I really don't believe that. But were you like 80 grand deep?
Well, no, I think it was 100.
Oh,
it was 100. Yeah. But I will say this though, like they
we need to start a Kickstarter for you.
Hey, I'm down.
Bro, I'm working on it. No, but I forgot where I was going with this, man.
I threw you into a deep depression.
And then your audio engineering.
Oh, yeah. One of my gripes with that college is that they taught too much theory and not enough hands-on.
Well, now we lost another sponsor for this.
You know what I mean? No, bro.
Arby's and the Art Institute. This sucks.
Hey, first of all, the Art Institute's going out of business. I don't even know, but they're closing the location here in Vegas.
Are they?
It's all good. We don't need the sponsorship.
Oh, that's funny.
Team has a grudge.
If you guys want to sponsor me, go ahead and forgive my student loans, please.
Oh, man. we need to get a hold of Obama. He might be able to
get him back on.
We got to get him back on the phone, man.
Yeah. No,
but yeah, 100%. Like the thing is, like, I was also 18 years old, and I wouldn't say I had the access to the resources that I have now. And I'm also, at being 18 years old, for somebody to be 18 years old and say, I have enough power in my hands to go ahead and commit to $100,000 responsibility.
Right.
I feel like that's a little overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be able to make a decision like that until your brain fully develops. And I don't feel like your brain fully ever develops until you're like 25, 26, 27.
I would agree with that.
You know what I mean?
It's predatory.
Yes.
By all means,
they sell you a dream.
They absolutely. I've been on a couple tours of different audio specific colleges.
Yeah.
And they sell you the dream. The funny thing is the thing, because I'm kind of cynical, unfortunately. But when I went on, for instance, I'm not going to name any names because I'm not trying to lose any other sponsorships like this guy over here. But when I went on a tour of a well-known audio institute that sells BS degrees to kids. And the one thing that I found so hilarious is that during the presentation, they bring us in this huge auditorium. They're like, we have the likes of Manny Fresh and this and that. And they come and speak. And I'm like, none of those guys fucking went to college. You're paying.
Whoa, that's fuck.
Like, you're paying these guys that learned on some old shitty MPC.
Yes.
And they made a brand for themselves and they made platinum records because they taught themselves, or like their homeboys helped them learn as a community, as a family. Yeah. And you're pitching the fact that you pay them $10,000 to come speak while these kids are having to take redundant courses that they have nothing to do with audio engineering. They have nothing to do with recording. You do not need to know advanced algebra, geometry, MIDI paths and stuff. Like we live in an era where none of that stuff is relevant anymore. Yeah. They're teaching completely irrelevant because it's all part of the cog. Right? If you went in there and they were like, look, either we can charge you $100,000 to get a degree, or if you just pay $12,000, we'll teach you everything that has to do with your field, but we'll just give you a certificate. Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that it was either going to be the Art Institute or it was going to be another institution that was, I think it was like 10 or 12 grand at the time, but it was only a certificate. It wasn't a degree. Right. And that was the deciding factor at the time. But again, like I said, I was 18 years old and I was like, damn, I need that degree.
You didn't know, but yet they made you feel empowered.
Oh, yeah. And the thing is, like, I would have gotten so much more value out of that certificate just because that certificate, I actually went to the place and I did a tour and here's our students. They're taking apart a $300,000 mixing board and they're putting it back together because we did something to it, and it's their task to find out what's wrong with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that's what you have to do when you're an audio engineer. You got to learn, not only know how to mix, but if you're working with actual hardware equipment, how to take it apart, how to do the electronics and put it back together.
Think of it this way. This is something that I tell a lot of my mentorship students that are thinking about going to college. I said, why don't you call a local recording studio wherever, some people don't have one in their city, but they have to still go to a bigger city to have a college like that anyway. Like, why don't you find a local recording studio and see if you can intern with them? Well, I need to be a college student to get an internship. Well, first of all, you don't. Second of all, if they tell you that you do, offer to give them $100 a week to intern for them. Pay them to intern for them. First of all, they won't know what to think. They'll be like, what? Right. You're going to pay? Yeah. And they're like, well, why would I pay to intern? Well, why would you pay to go to college for something that you're not going to use the degree for? Damn. You're going to pay $80,000 to some college? Yeah. You know how badass of a home studio I can build for $80,000? Right. Just because you can make payments on it? Nah. I can go get a Lamborghini for, 80% interest rate and never own it. I mean, the thing is, for like $10,000, you could build a wicked home studio. Oh yeah. And have like a year's worth of an audio engineer that has a recording studio or works at a recording studio. I mean, what's $100 a week? Yeah. $5,200 a year? Right. Wow. That's so much worse than an $80,000 student loan.
I will say one of the things that I do know is a lot of these big recording studios that do require you to be college credit for you to intern is most of the time they're in partnership with these colleges that give them free labor essentially. So if you say like, hey, I'll give you $100 a week to let me intern for you, it flips the table. It's
exactly.
like, oh, what?
Yeah, because instead of free labor, they're getting paid. They're getting paid to have labor.
You're gonna pay us, yeah. You know, like if I had somebody that said, "Hey, Keem, you know, I'll can I intern for you guys and I'll do all the camera switching, set up all the lights, and I'll pay you $50 a week." I'm like, what? All right,
absolutely. Even if they weren't good,
yeah.
And you'd give them more attention. You'd be more patient with them, and you'd teach them. Yes. They'd be your apprentice. You'd care more.
Yeah. So if you're out there, man, I'm looking for you.
That's it. Yeah. So.
But yeah, that's good stuff, man. I'm really glad we're on the same page, and it's good to see like the insight that you have, because you do have a mentorship program, right?
Yeah, I have.
No, what is that all about? Like, how did that come about, and what is it?
So back in 2015 is when I first started thinking about coming out with a program so I could help people, get people under my wing, because I was so frustrated from seeing my friends and peers have really great music and getting nowhere with it because they didn't have the knowledge of building a brand. They didn't have the knowledge of marketing it. They didn't know how to package their goods to look professional. They had all this wonderful music that I could listen to all day and envy and ask, like, how did you do that?
Right.
Yet I was the one making money. Right. Like, it's not fair to them. It's really not fair. Like, I'm not as good as them, yet they're getting nowhere. And when you hear them struggle, you hear them really frustrated. You hear them almost at the verge of tears because, Adam, I've been producing for 10 years. Everybody tells me that my beats are dope, but nobody hears them. Nobody's buying from me.
Right.
I'm like, I want to help you. So in 2015, just on a whim, because I was bored, I got on Facebook and Twitter, I think, and I was like, yo, if you want help, I want to help you one-on-one. I'll give you personal time. I don't remember what I said exactly. I said, send an email to, I forgot what the email address was. I think I do know it, but I don't want anybody emailing me there anymore because I don't check it anymore. And I said, let's get to work. Let's do, I'll give you a free consultation or I'll walk you through a little bit. I ended up helping like 250 something people in the course of like less than 6 months. And I say that because some were just a one email. That's all they needed. Some were Skype calls. Some were an ongoing email check-in thing for free. It was all like pro bono. Wow. Just, it was very fulfilling. Smart, and I was also doing it from a marketing side to kind of, proof of concept.
Yeah.
It's like, if there's something there, there's going to be something there. If 5 people email me, you know what I mean? And there's even people like, yo, like, I'll pay you for this. I'm like, oh, okay. And then this is hilarious how the mentorship program started, because I had a private mentorship program before I went public with a course or anything like that. And it started by somebody emailing me and saying, hey, how much is your mentorship program? And as an entrepreneur, a hustler, I was like, I don't have one. I'm helping people for free. I threw out like a big fuck you number. I'm like, $3,500. It's a 10-week program. I'll help you one-on-one, get a weekly call. I'll track your progress and help you. Like, I was genuine about it.
Yeah.
And then I get an email back the next day. What's your PayPal account? Wow. Yeah, that's how it started. Damn. And then other people were asking, and I ultimately helped probably a couple dozen people. Not all at $3,500. That fluctuated. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to really give them value, but also with my schedule, I knew sometimes I wouldn't be able to give them a weekly call. So maybe that turns into a weekly group call. Maybe that turns into direct Slack contact with me. Right. And I kind of like whittled it into place while making money, while helping people make money and helping make a bigger impact with their momentum. And I'm like, there's something here. So in 2015, I had the opportunity to buy sellmusic.com for a little bit more money than normal domains. Yeah. And I was like, I need to do something with this.
It was more than $11.99.
Yeah. I think it was like $3,500. Yeah. And at the time I was like, sellmusic.com, what would somebody type into Google if they're trying to sell music? How do I sell music? Like, it's just keyword rich. It's right there. Right. And so I even think it's more powerful than buy beats or something, because then that's a marketing terminology. That's a call to action. Yeah. That's not trying to learn. So I bought Sell Music and I'm like, I want to do something with this, but I really want to prove the concept. I really want to prove the curriculum and kind of the flow of everything before I do this. Right. So I started doing videos on YouTube, teaching people how to do it, opening conversations, saying, hey, hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on Facebook. Let's talk in the comments. And then all of a sudden my YouTube channel started really growing faster and more consistent than usual. Right. I'm like, I have something here. And it was well over a year before I ever offered anything paid again. In fact, I closed down my paid mentorship program. I would direct people to specific YouTube videos. The free YouTube videos came from people's real questions. I started screen capturing, and I have like an Excel spreadsheet with over 300 different questions that are relatively unique based on the mentorship program that I was running, and people emailing me and leaving comments and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not writing the curriculum. They're writing the curriculum. I'm just answering the questions.
Right.
And then it got to a point where I was starting to get like 20 to 30 DMs and emails a day. And I just couldn't, even if you spend 5 minutes, which is like a half-assed response for most of them, I don't have enough time in the day. I could literally sit there on my computer all day and it'd be like a full-time job responding. So I'm like, how do I separate myself? How do I separate the action takers from the people that want, the first chapter of the Bible as far as a response, but aren't ever going to do anything with it? They just want interaction. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I need to put something out that's premium, that's going to make a divide.
Right.
Because people can get as much free content as they want off my YouTube channel.
Right.
And my Instagram, and I can do my volunteer work and I can help passively. But if you want direct contact with me, I mean, time is valuable.
Right.
If I'm not,
and especially if you're getting 20, 30, DMs a day, you definitely need a way to filter that out.
You just don't have the time.
Yeah.
And so I developed a course curriculum that I sent off to some people that were friends and some people who I had worked with directly in the mentorship program a couple of years prior to that. And they're like, bro, you are going to cause some distractions. They're not distractions, disruptions.
Yeah.
You are going to make enemies with this because you're literally like giving out the secret sauce.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I do that, and this is going to sound marketing, but like if I were to give out the secrets and all the formulas and like everything I do down to a T, and what these other guys that are going to be mad at me for sharing their secrets, if I give that out for free, then it's going to completely disrupt the marketing structure. Because so imagine 500 people are doing something that really works really well.
Right.
Facebook ads, Instagram ads, they're doing YouTube promotions. And then all of a sudden those 500 people give out the secrets to where now 50,000 people are doing it. It becomes worthless.
Yep.
Marketers ruin everything. So when it comes to giving out the secrets and giving a formulaic approach rather than an upper level, just mindset stuff, you kind of have to keep it limited if you want it to continue to be effective. Not only that, is you need to be able to shift with how then it goes, because it's not going to be evergreen. If someone taught you how to do marketing back in 2004, it's not going to be the same.
It's completely different.
Yeah. Completely different.
If somebody taught you how to do marketing 3 years ago, it's completely
100%.
I mean, especially with the platforms like Instagram and Facebook constantly always changing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Things are not going to stay the same.
So 100%. So what I did is I made a curriculum. I scripted the majority of it. I made some really strong topics, and then I spent the next 6 weeks recording like 50 videos. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, oh, what are you doing? You just relax? I'm like, no, man, like I'm recording videos every day. And some of these video scripts are 17 pages long. Like they're not, I write the script because I need to make sure that from a textbook perspective, I'm not just freestyling and forgetting something.
Yeah.
I need to be thorough. So I'll freestyle in between some paragraphs and stuff and fill in the gaps. And then I have a mastermind group that's private that I have direct access, and they have direct access to me. But it's a premium course, no different than, I don't need to sell this stuff to make my money, but I need to sell this stuff to kind of separate the doers from the freeloaders.
Right.
And I love my freeloaders because they subscribe to me on YouTube and they engage, and I hope they all make a shit ton of progress and a shit ton of money with my free content because they can.
Right.
And I feel
well, realistically, I feel like they can just because a lot of people, all they need is that fire. You know what I mean?
The basic tools as well, and they can do it. But there's some people you can give them the gold, and they'll be like, I still don't want to. Like, what? Could I get a little bit more? And you're like, I gave you everything. I gave you.
Well, Adam Ivy taught me everything, but you know what? My city, they don't really want to pay the price that he charges, so I got to go where he goes. And
that's the thing. And like this is just the beginning of something really, really huge and bigger than me. I plan on this upcoming summer having a Sell Music conference in Orlando, Florida, with a bunch of my buddies and people that I respect to come in. And it's not going to be a big hoorah, let's listen to your beats and critique them. Like, who am I to tell you that your beats suck? I can tell you like things that need to be better, sure.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to help you brand yourself.
Just too much reverb, bro.
Well, the thing is, there's a million different tutorials on how to make better music.
Right.
Because people aren't afraid of doing that. People are afraid. And you know what? It's the lack of confidence, because there's people that are marketing and they're very successful at it, but they think that it's like luck. They think it's a fluke. Like, when are people going to catch on that I'm doing this, or that I'm not really who they think I am, or whatever? Like, no, it's just, that's how marketing is.
Yep.
And if you don't grasp onto that, if you don't embrace it, you're going to float around and just think it's luck your whole life. And someday it's going to run out because you're not doing it with purpose. You're floating along enjoying the fruits of whatever you're doing without realizing what you're doing with purpose. You know what I mean?
You had mentioned something earlier where you said something like sell music would be more searchable than something like buy beats, right? And I was thinking about that right now, and I was like, it made me think like somebody who goes to buybeats.com is not as likely to invest in themselves as somebody who goes to sell music. Because if you're going somewhere to sell music, like it's more like you're going to invest back in yourself because you're searching a way for you to sell music. So you're already on that line of entrepreneurship. You know what I mean?
For sure. Well, the thing is, it's funny. A lot of the people in my space that try to teach music business and music marketing, great people, like I said, but they're producers or music creators teaching marketing. I firmly believe that I'm a marketer teaching music creators how to market their music.
That's genius.
You know, it's a whole different thing. You know what I mean? Like you could be really, really good at grilling chicken and be a firefighter.
Yeah.
And try to teach how to grill as a firefighter, or you could be a cook.
Yeah.
That's also a part-time firefighter. And I'm going to trust the cook that's good at chicken more than a firefighter who just his family loves it. You got to have your own space. You got to identify who you are. Too many people play the middle. Too many people try to dabble. What do? Oh, I'm a music producer. I make T-shirts on the weekends.
Photographer, videographer.
Man, it's dangerous.
Digital marketing agency.
It's funny. I do everything though. I do it. Yeah.
Well, what are you best at?
Shit, I don't even know yet.
You got to figure that out.
Yep.
Because until you figure that out, and you want to know, you need to decide what your reputation is.
Mm-hmm.
People like float. They're like, you're in control of your reputation.
Yep.
You're in control of your perception of public perception, right? No matter what you dress, how you do your mustache, how you have your hair. It's all up to you. We're living in a country where sometimes we feel so divided, yet we are in charge of how the public perceives us.
Oh yeah.
Right? If I come in here and I'm dressed completely different vibe. If I come in here with like
a do-rag and like
not even. If I come in here in a red tuxedo with gold hummingbirds all over it, you're going to look at me like, man, this guy's eccentric. This guy, like, what is he up to?
I want to be like, damn, this guy's not signing the waiver.
Right? But that's the thing. Like a lot of people will jump to like, oh, if you dress ghetto, if you dress like hood or urban or like whatever adjective that you want to use for that or verb or whatever. Like if I come in here with like glitter on my face and I have like frosted pink tips and like, you're going to get a perception of me that might not be a true representation of me. That's why I stopped wearing fitted caps in my YouTube videos, because I don't wear fitted caps in real life. That was like a prop for me to kind of like hide my face and be something I didn't think, but being something that I thought I needed to be in order to fit in. And I learned quickly that becoming myself, embracing my flaws, embracing who I was. Yeah. That's myself. That's only myself.
So, and I feel like that's something that a lot of people struggle with, like myself included. And I'm pretty sure Chuck does too. Self-identity, right? Like how do you find out who you are, what your services are supposed to be, and what your purpose is supposed to be, right? Like I don't know. Do you just ask people around you, like, hey, when you look at me, when you look at my website, you look at my Instagram, what do you see? Do you see a photographer? Do you see a videographer?
You don't need other people's input though. You are who you are when you're not trying. Like when you put in the effort to do something you like doing. What makes you forget to eat?
We're podcasters, bro.
Oh.
Think about it. Like what makes you forget to eat? What makes you forget that you need to go to sleep and wake up the next day? What makes, is that photography?
It's photography.
Is that editing photos?
It's editing photos. It's editing video, and it's also finding a way to get more business.
And do you find a lot of fulfillment in that?
Oh, 100%,
then that's who you are.
It's one of those things where I've told Chuck this before too. Like if you had $1 billion tonight, would you still be doing a podcast tomorrow?
Oh, yes, I would. You'd have a badass podcast.
But it would be a bigger studio. Right. It would be better equipment. Right. But I would still be doing this, right? Like that's how I feel. I can kind of see where I'm on the right path or if I'm going the wrong path. And that's, if I want to start a t-shirt printing business, like it'd be fun for a minute. Sure. But it wouldn't be something that I'm passionate about. It's not the main
thing. Yeah.
I would be doing it to make some money primarily, but at the end of the day,
that's right. Right there. So many people chase the money grab.
Yeah.
Because they see other people doing it. Yeah. I've done it. The thing is, legacy is more important than the money. Think about it this way. Okay, so I still make music, but I've been doing music since 2006, so 12 years. It's going to be 13 years in October. If I die tomorrow, are there people going to like go dedicate a park because I made dope beats? No. But if I could teach 1,000 people how to make a career, how to spend more time with their kids at home because they're able to do music full time or have a supplemental income to where they don't have to have that shitty second job. Yeah. They can come home and make music. They can have dinner with their kids after school every day, ask how they're doing, and then say, hey, I got to go make beats for 3 hours. Your wife's going to be a lot more open to that. I mean, or, whoever. I'm not, trying to paint the family structure in America or anything. But the thing is, if I come home and I'm fulfilled, I'm a whole different person. Mm-hmm. If you're depressed, you're not the same. Money doesn't matter. As long as you could, if you don't get yourself into debt, you don't have to make that much money hypothetically to live a fine life. There's people that are living in tiny houses and 1-bedroom apartments that are happier than me. Yep. Because they found fulfillment in what they do. I don't care if they work at the gardening center of a Home Depot, if they love gardening. Yeah. If they find that their knowledge base, maybe they went to school for botany or something, right? Mm-hmm. And then they're like amazing at gardening. Right. That could be their strength. And then at the same time, there's people who just like they want to live a nomadic lifestyle where they're just constantly traveling. Right. Or they're just and there's nothing wrong with it. They don't want to own a home. They just want to live on the road. Yeah. They want that freedom of being able to just no shackles. Those invisible shackles. They just want to be able to. It's Tuesday. I'm gonna go take a little road trip because I can. You know what I mean? Like that's freedom. That's exactly, and that's it. Completely depends on the person and the way they want to, live their lives. Yeah, I think that people are depressed because they don't know who they need to impress. Yeah, they're trying to live up to other people's expectations. They're depressed because they don't have an identity, like you were saying, and yet they push so hard to try to have a. Maybe it's deep to me. Well, I appreciate that. The thing is, they don't know who they need to identify as to get the most attention. Yep. And that's the sad part, because when they go home and look at themselves in the mirror, especially females, I find I feel truly saddened by the attention grab that females are really going for, especially the younger females on Instagram, on Facebook. You should the recommended. Who you should be friends with recommended, and every chick has their makeup done the same. Every chick is showing way more of their body than probably needed. Every chick has the little bunny ears. It's Snapchat filters. Oh my God, and the thing is, live your life, absolutely, but don't find value in other people's validation. Yeah, and we all do it. We all chase it. Yeah, absolutely, and man. When you can really separate yourself from that, at the end of the day, when you're like, I'm eating a $50 steak and I don't need to tell people about it. Yeah. You're all right. And people need to also understand that when they go into something like social media, they're going into it with their perception only. So if I see somebody who's also a photographer and oh my God, I feel like their photos are way much better than mine. And I'm comparing, I don't know what they're going through. They may be looking at my photos thinking the exact same thing, but because they don't comment me, we don't talk that much. The communication isn't there, and it's completely up to your perception on what to take away from that whole situation. Yeah. Quality, style, aesthetic, it's all subjective, completely subjective. You see artists, multi-million-dollar artists coming out with album art with literally one icon. And then you see other people that are spending tens of thousands of dollars on this paintings, amazing mural or photo shoot or something. And to them, that's what represents them. Yeah. You got minimalists and you got people that want to live with so much abundance that they'll never be able to enjoy anything they buy because they already have a pile. Mm-hmm. They'll have 5 cars, but they don't drive the other 4. Right. They drive one primarily, and then the other one's every other month weekend thing. Why do you own it? What? Mm-hmm. I get it because I'm a car guy. I'd love to have a fleet, but those are things that are nice to have if you can afford. And I learned this now that I'm older, because I'm making payments on my car. You know what I mean? Of course. But that's because I also value the car more than I should have at the time when I got it. But it's I'm starting to realize now that I'm older. I'm like, you know what? A nice car would be nice if you can pay for it cash. That's it. Pay for it cash and then don't have that debt on your back. Right. Because now that you have that debt, now you have that responsibility of oh crap, now I need to do whatever it takes to make the money to pay for that responsibility. Yeah. As opposed to because now I don't have time to enjoy that. Now I have to go work. Yeah. I have to go freelance. And I have to go pick up these gigs that I didn't want. Yeah. Because I have something that that I acted out. Yeah. I think that true financial freedom isn't a number, isn't a goal. Yeah. It's when all of your expenses can be auto deducted out of your account, and it doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
You don't have to wake up stressed out and check your bank account.
Yeah.
Oh, did that car payment come out today? Oh, I thought it was coming out tomorrow. I don't get paid till Friday.
Yeah.
And see, I finally just hit that in my life. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's the first time.
It's a
like,
blessing.
It's crazy. Like a lot of people don't understand, like I'm not like, rich.
Right.
But I literally don't stress. Like I can literally just chill.
You're good.
And be like, hey, like I'm not afraid of bills or anything.
Right.
Like my car, I get a hoopty, you know what I mean? Because I don't want a car payment. But it breaks down a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, usually back in the day, I'd be like, oh my God, like this.
Yeah, you're
I'm
ruined.
just like, I'll just rent a car and I'll just bring it to my homie and rent and repair it. And it's like, it's crazy because that was literally my most stressful thing, is not having money.
Right.
Because it was always like, I'd work so hard for nothing. But now I finally have like, decent freelance gigs, all that, and I'm working, and it's just like, it feels really good. And I think it's that thing, like I'm not greedy, I'm not chasing the money.
Right.
But that financial freedom is probably one of and stress is the most important thing. Stress-free life, that probably will make you live the longest.
100%.
Yeah,
I find it ironic that the money comes in abundance when you don't need it.
Exactly.
It starts flowing when you don't worry about it.
That's everything in your life, bro. Everything comes to you when you're not looking for it.
Unless it's Arby's.
Oh shit!
It came back full circle, y'all.
He's waiting for it.
No, but I do notice that like when you're not actively looking for something, it just finds its way into your lap.
It's like, whoa, where'd you come from?
Yeah. So I mean, you've worked with a bunch of people in your professional career, from mentoring people, from producing music. Do you have any like crazy stories that you'd like to talk about?
So I've had the opportunity and I've been blessed enough to work with over 2,500 independent artists and some bigger names that became bigger names after I worked with them. Nice. When I worked with G-Eazy, he was still kind of like a B-list, C-list artist, and now he's all over the place. So I didn't get that opportunity because I'm so dope that I'm getting attention from the major labels. And that's one thing that I push in the Sell Music Masterclasses. You don't need major placements. You don't need a record deal. You don't need to live in LA. You don't need to live in New York to make a living off of music. That's all bullshit that they try to kind of brainwash you. You need to move to LA. No, you don't. Do you want an $1,800 a month studio apartment when you're living in like Elgin, Illinois, and you can have a house for $600? Like
rooms.
That's the thing.
That used to be that I remember growing up, and that was the dream of like, okay, well, we got to make it so that we can move to LA,
right?
Yeah.
Because that's where everybody's working. Everybody who's a working professional is in LA. Like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But they've also got the most amount of bills. Like they have to be making the amount of money they make to maintain that.
Mm-hmm. Before I get to my story,
I'm
gonna build on what you just said. So many online guys that find success selling music online, if they move to LA, what the fuck are they going to do? They're used to doing business online.
Yeah.
They're not used to the networking and hustle aspect of doing networking and getting out of their closet and going to studios at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. Is your girlfriend going to be cool with that? You going to like blazing with the boys at the studio every night until like 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
Is she going to trust you when like chicks are just hanging around?
Yeah.
Everybody's drinking and smoking, and it's like, it's not the same life. You got to party to network. You don't go out and like play video games and give each other high fives while drinking apple juice in the music industry. It doesn't work like that. So you can move to LA, but you got to completely change the way you've been hustling and the way your lifestyle.
Yeah.
So if you're making money online and you're good at it and you become kind of a maverick of bringing people in through inbound marketing, through understanding how to build a brand.
Right.
Brands are offering you $500 to do a product review on something that also costs $1,500 that you wanted to buy, but they're sending it to you for free. Why would you want to move to a place that's completely foreign to chase placements?
Yeah.
So like, I mean, it's not my thing, but anyway, the only story that I really have is something I share once in a while. And it's about the artist who I was working with directly when I first started making money with music.
Yeah.
And we put out a couple mixtapes, and that was even kind of a sham because he told me he was going to pay me because he was releasing an album. And then like a week before the album was dropping, he's like, "Oh, bro," and this is not at all how they sound or what they said, but "Oh, bro, we're going to actually just do a mixtape and drop it to the people for free, build up hype, get some radio interviews and stuff." I'm like, well, free doesn't pay my bills when you promised me X amount. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've given you, 24 beats to choose from that nobody else has had
but
access
Adam, you're
to.
going to get exposure, man.
I can get more exposure.
I'll pay you an exposure.
I get more exposure sitting here waving out a window of some sort. Like it's bad. It's the full circle of it came to where the manager of this particular artist had sent me an award. And the award was to thank me for working on the mixtape that they gave away for free. So now they're investing money to thank people for not paying them. That's how I took it.
Damn.
Crazy.
And the award, the plaque of the award was like, you ever get like a 4th place trophy? You're not good enough for a real trophy, so you get a wood plaque with like a metal piece on it.
I've never gotten one. I've never been on any teams.
Those.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, you'd only get
I've
first
seen
place.
them. I've seen them.
Yeah.
I
We
only
can
get
Google
first
search it
place.
real quick. Well, he sends me this plaque, and I appreciate it. I'm appreciative, but I'm also inquisitive. So the plaque, the wood part and the metal part that was affixed to it weren't straight. It was crooked. So no matter how I mounted it on the wall, it would look crooked.
Yeah.
So I text him. I'm like, yo, I appreciate this plaque.
But it's crooked.
By chance, did you look at these before you sent them out? Excuse me. I said, because this thing is crooked, and no matter how I hang it on the wall, either the plaque is crooked itself or the the artwork on it's crooked.
Like a plaque that came out of Cracker Jack box.
This guy came at me. He yelled at. He called me. He called me and he yelled at me like I was his kid, and I just crayoned all over his wall or something. Like it was like the phone was in his mouth.
Yeah.
And he was like, all I got out of the entire call was he called me a white twerp, and that he better not see me, and that something about killing my mother.
Whoa.
Which this is the reason that I share this story, because he went way too far.
That's way too far.
He was so upset that I wasn't appreciative for something that he spent money on when he owed me money. Well, it just was mind blowing, and it made me realize, because this is the same individual who was we'd meet up occasionally in person to talk about music and stuff, and he really went out on a limb by buying me Panera like twice. Shout out to him for spending $16. Like I really owed him. So like don't value the producer at all. And the thing about it was, I'm obviously a white guy, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
And they would always
just the lighting.
I know. I'm like translucent. I'm happy you didn't turn these things
that light,
on.
bro.
Yeah, exactly. But he would always say things like, I'm so happy that we're coming together, and that you have soul, and we're able to have diversity in these productions and stuff like that. And I felt good about it. He was a man of the Lord, and would always that this and that.
Damn.
And then as soon as I told him his plaque was whack, like he went off the chain, and he started yelling at me on the phone, and it was just bad, man. And then the artist hit me up and was like, yo, what's going on, man? I told him, I'm like, dude, the issue is the artist was so talented, and his manager is going to keep him from ever having success, because his manager wants to live vicariously through him.
Yeah.
He wants to do his music videos. He wants to do his production and his mixing and all this stuff. And I get it, being supportive of your boy.
Yeah.
But you are keeping your boy from ever having a record deal. Now this guy's probably like 35 or 40. The train has left the station.
That's one of the things that we actually just talked about with the gym owners that we had in here.
Yeah.
One of the most important things about being somebody that's successful is knowing how to delegate.
That's right.
You delegate different roles to different people who have those strengths.
Yeah.
Just because you can do everything doesn't mean you should do everything, right?
Yep. Yeah.
You should focus on the things that you're better at.
100%. You have to focus on your strengths and kind of get away from your weaknesses, because as you grow older, you don't have the time to get really good at your weaknesses.
Yeah.
And it's so much more valuable time. It's the time money ratio that I talk about all the time, but it's either you have the time to do it or you have the money to pay somebody to do it.
Yeah.
You usually don't have both. If you do have both, you're like in a very good position. Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy, man. Thread, wow.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
My mom. My mom's very sweet.
Yeah, man, that's
all
the thing.
on a plaque.
Yeah, on a plaque.
That's crazy.
A plaque
People
celebrate a free mixtape that did nothing.
You said, bro, your plaque was crooked.
Yeah.
Did you get these out?
Yeah. Yes. Much respect to them. Like that artist, like I said, is super talented.
Real quick, do you still have that plaque?
No, I threw it away.
Damn it. I wanted to see it.
Yeah, I should have kept it. But yeah, nice. I threw that away. What was I going to do with it?
Crooked.
It's crooked.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, I literally put a nail in the wall, and I was like, there's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so having done so many things in your professional career, like what would you say has been the most challenging experience, whether it's, you know, music or it's another venture? What have you found to be the most challenging experience and has taught you something?
So in 2016, in July of 2016, I launched a clothing line called Just Be. And it was all about the premise of just be yourself.
Yeah.
Be authentic, really harness who you are, and don't try to compare yourself. You know, I have a friend who had some pictures up on Facebook, a really close friend of mine. He's like a brother to me. And some pictures up on Facebook of him and his kids in the ocean. And he had a t-shirt on. And I'm like, why are you wearing a t-shirt, bro? He's like, oh, you know, I've gained some weight. And I'm like, okay. But I'm like, that really triggered something in me to say, you're enjoying the ocean with your kids and you're afraid to take your shirt off because of how society has painted the picture through advertising, through Instagram, through all these different things. Because I'm sure there's not a bunch of ripped motherfuckers on the beach that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe on TV, but when you go to the beach, there's not a whole lot of ripped guys. Unless it's like spring break or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
just that over-tan dude.
Right.
With the really dark nipples.
Yeah. His name's Clint.
His name's Clint, yeah. His hair's bleached for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yep.
And it's not even like good. It's like the sun actually did it. He's outside so much. But no, so my buddy, you know, and that, I didn't go into like, you know, any type of motivational thing with them, like, oh, you should embrace yourself. But I was just like, I need to make a clothing line that isn't just for super ripped dudes, but I want it to be like a lifestyle fitness brand. And the passion behind that was good. And the intention was great. But then I realized that you can't please everyone. You know, I came out with a ton of different, I mean, my clothing went all the way up to 4X. And the other athletic companies, they're not going up that high. But then I realized that the cut for like a smaller, medium, and large person doesn't necessarily match what needs to be in place for a 2XL, 3XL, 4XL. And I have a lot of big friends. So I'm taking feedback from them and I'm tailoring the shirts and the pants and stuff for them. And then the slimmer people aren't happy. So I'm like, that makes sense why fitness brands are so niche.
Right.
You know, so I was doing all the order fulfillment myself. I was hand sewing on all the, I mean, I still do. I hand sew on all the hem tags myself in front of a brother sewing machine, doing everything myself.
That's tight.
I've manufactured overseas. I've done screen printing here, like taking care of all the logistics of it. That's the most valuable aspect of this entire business, is understanding the physical product business and how to deal with manufacturers, how to package, how, like, because the perception of it's big. Like, I spent a ton of money, and not a ton of money, but I spent enough money on my mailers and the hang tags and like everything to give a person a professional experience from a guy fulfilling orders from a garage or a spare bedroom. You know, they don't understand that it's not a huge brand, but it kind of comes off as a big brand.
Right.
And so I invested like $35,000 or $40,000 in getting that off the ground with inventory. I was super overzealous. I was like, I'm going to order 100 of these. I'm going to order 400 pairs of sweatpants. This is going to sell. Like, I was super confident this is going to sell.
Yeah.
And I'm like right at the break-even point. I'll give you that. Like, right at the break, but 2 years later, right at the break-even point with a decent amount of inventory left. And I'm like, why would I do this when I was making $15,000 a month selling beats online?
Right.
When I'm struggling to make 4 or 5 selling t-shirts, selling a physical product that I feel good about and that people like, but you need to make enough money and enough profit to keep new products coming out.
Right.
This is something I've never really talked about publicly because I'm not embarrassed of it, but I put it on the back burner. And I'm like, you know what? I need to go back to the drawing board and figure out if this is a money grab, something that I was passionate about and just got bored with, or if this is something that I really want to develop into something that's more than just clothes.
Right.
But there's so many people out there that are trying to sell t-shirts and joggers and shorts because like every manufacturer online is reaching out to people saying like, you should have a personal brand. You should do this. You should have t-shirts are easy money. Like, t-shirts are very easy money. Yeah. If you have an audience. And I launched to an audience that wasn't my audience.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I was going to ask what looking back, what is something that you would have taken away from it that you didn't know going into it, and you kind of just said it, you made something for an audience that wasn't your audience.
So I didn't mention this before, but in 2008, I think I was a certified personal trainer. never did it as a job, just got the certification, and that's when the economy crashed and people weren't hiring for personal trainers. That was like a passion of mine.
Yeah.
Fitness is a passion of mine. I still do Instagram videos once in a while when I'm at the gym or whatever, but like there was a moment where I was like, I could be a fitness influencer, whatever you want to call it, like a fitness guy on YouTube. I could do that. Yeah. Because it's like you start believing in yourself, like, oh, I'm way better at camera stuff than that. You know what I mean? Like I got a decent physique going on right now. Like it's dumb. Well,
just look at that John Cena video, man.
Yeah, right. That was the glory days. But with the Just Be clothing line, I did things all wonky in the wrong order. I launched to music producers and people that like funny videos trying to sell them a fitness brand. Mm-hmm. Doesn't make sense. Now, luckily, I have the skill set to do photography and video editing and make logos and websites and stuff. So I was able to build up the website and the perception of it to seem like it was a legitimate established brand, which it then kind of became through repetition. But like I said, it fell flat because that's not my audience. If I would have came out with my own custom branded microphones or keyboards,
it would have been something completely different.
Or software for music creators,
it would have been a different story.
A whole different story. It'd be very successful.
Right.
And I wish I had that money back to then put into that.
Right.
Excuse me. But, that was the biggest learning experience because I learned a lot, and I can help people start a t-shirt brand. I can help people, and I have mentored people into starting their own clothing line and missing all the mistakes that I made. And I spent.
Well, in a worst case scenario, like you said, it is a learning experience. Expensive one, but even if you're breaking even at this point with a little bit of inventory left, you still can learn take something away from it, and show it as an example to people who do want to learn how to do things like that. Like, exactly. Hey, I can show you what I did wrong. Here's what here's how I can help you too.
And that's the thing. In life, you have to go for it. If you have an idea that you're passionate about and you think will work, if it's not going to make you homeless, if it's not going to ruin your life, what do you have to lose?
Yep.
Okay, I have some t-shirts in my garage. I have some shorts and sweatshirts and stuff. They're all good quality. I have Christmas gifts for the rest of my life if I wanted to give them away.
Right.
But the thing is, as a marketer, now I can leverage all that inventory as giveaways.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like, hey, you want to win a free t-shirt? If I wanted to, I could do a free plus shipping thing where I'm like, I'm giving everything away. Just pay shipping. And then charge $16, $18 shipping, make profit on everything, and get rid of it. Well, people perceive that as free. And I'm not saying that I'm going to do that, but it's an idea, right? It's a way to get that stuff out the door.
Make it a win-win situation no matter what.
Of course. And the quality is there. Everybody who's bought, I've had pretty much all of my customers have come back and been return customers with that business. But now they're like, I have people like, where is it? Where's the new stuff? Like, are you going to come out with a women's line and stuff like that? Like, no, because
but your I'm not gonna lie, your brand was really dope.
I appreciate
when I saw it because I saw it from the very beginning. When you first came out doing that, and then I saw you were doing the vlogs and you were doing like that stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I was looking forward to like the new stuff. I'll be honest, I was on your website and I was gonna get something, but I don't think I saw my size.
That's it.
Yeah. That was, I think you only went up to extra large or 2X maybe.
In the shorts, in the bottoms, like the shorts and joggers, I only went up to a certain size because when it gets to a certain size, scaling becomes completely different. A cut for a smaller medium is not the same cut, even if you make it bigger. You need to make it longer. You need to make the inseam
So
longer.
that's what the whole relaxed fit is. Yeah. Like that's what it does, right? It's almost like getting a shoe. And even if you get a size 10, 10 and a half, 11, whatever, if it's not wide,
you gotta get
it won't fit your shoe, right? Okay.
You got to get those E shoes.
You got to get those E.
Because D's sometimes aren't enough. You got to get those E's.
Got to get those E's.
Those E's. But that was a learning experience for me. I appreciate everything I learned, and I appreciate all my customers, and I still have it. I've in fact, I have some buddies that are in the fitness space that are like, yo, I want to help you with that. Like, just let me, I don't even need money. Just like help me or let me build the brand back up.
Yeah.
And I'll, here's some free stuff. Rock it. Take
That'd
pictures.
be really cool because the brand is really cool, man. The logo is really nice. The website was clean. Like,
I appreciate it, man.
I think you definitely, even if it's not you, and this goes back to the whole delegating position, if you can delegate it to somebody who can do something with it, I feel like you should, because that I mean, even the intention behind why you created it was pure, man. It was not a money grab. It was something that you said inspired you by something that happened with your friend.
Yeah.
The intention is pure. It just maybe for your position and what you're doing in your life doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The Sell Music Masterclass, if I I mean, basic math, if I'm charging $700 per head and I get 200 people, 300 people at a time, math.
Yeah.
You know, compared to 2 years of doing a t-shirt business for $35,000, $40,000.
Right.
So it really is where my passion lies versus where my time is spent. So if I'm getting more fulfillment, helping people build a career up, and maybe I shift gears in a couple of years and I teach people how to do video marketing.
Right.
I teach people how to just be an overall creative. I teach, start a YouTube channel. Like there's so many different ideas that I can be impactful with the education side. And I feel like I'm well-spoken enough, and ironically enough, because I was never good in high school. But my skill set really garners being able to do educational content. And I feel like I can really reach people that way. Right. Some people become successful because they're a cool guy. Everything they do is cool. I want to be the guy that's just helpful. You know, so if I could be helpful in any niche, whether it be telling people how not to fail a t-shirt brand,
right,
telling people how to make music or make money with their music, how to build a successful YouTube channel that'll pay them. Even, people underestimate the power of an extra $500 a month. If YouTube's paying you $500 a month, how would that change your life?
Oh yeah.
Would you?
For some people, that's all it would take.
That's all it would take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, that's. I appreciate you sharing that story, man. That's really dope, and I think our viewers, listeners are gonna take away a lot from that. I don't know if you know, but one of our one of the guys that we had on our podcast, Angelo, he actually he knows about you, and I think he follows you, and he's a really big fan of yours.
He's
man.
super talented too, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Really dope. One of the last questions I actually had for you was, because I think we're kind of running low on time here. How doing so much as you do, how do you balance your professional life and your work life and your personal life?
Sure. So when you love what you do, that is your personal life. Point blank.
Okay.
When you love editing videos, when you love being helpful to others, when you love making music, how is that not your personal life?
Right.
My girl, when I met my girl, she knows I love making music. She knows that I love doing marketing things.
Right.
She knows that I love ripping apart product placements and TV shows and ripping apart all the marketing. Like, that's me.
So you're from the train of thought that if you're working, this is gonna sound cheesy because it's been oversaid.
Yeah.
But if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life, right?
I don't believe that at all.
You don't believe that?
No.
Okay.
Because work is different than loving what you do. But when you love what you do, the work is a flow and it becomes part of your life. Like, for instance, if you like playing video games and you also like carpentry, well, if you're a carpenter by day and you have to go away from what you love to do video games, that's two separate passions.
Right.
That's a break from the reality of what you're doing professionally. When I'm making music and helping people marketing, and that's my thing, that is my life. I don't have to step away from that. If I'm answering comments via email, if I'm answering DMs, that's not me at work. That's me living my life. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not sitting down and watching Netflix to escape that.
Right.
It's a part of it.
Right.
So when you can incorporate the flow, there's no work-life balance. When you can bring somebody into your life, whether it's your kids, whether it's a family member, whether it's your romantic situation, a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, like whatever.
Yeah.
If they understand who you are, it's no different than you liking, I'm not saying you like, but let's say you do like video games. Let's say you do like going and playing collegiate baseball, or like, not collegiate, but you have an amateur league around town that you go play kickball on the weekends. Like, that is part of your life.
Right.
Right. So the work-life balance thing, I feel like, is when work is so stressful and it feels like a job, you have to separate that and have a distraction somewhere else.
Yeah.
But if it's just part of your life, it is your life.
Yep.
I'm not trying to be all philosophical.
No, that's deep, man.
Yeah.
I've never thought about it that way, to be honest. I mean, I just meant it as more like because like I love my family.
Sure.
But I feel like sometimes because of the amount of work that I work, but it's really my life, right? Me doing photography, me doing videos and this and that. That's things that I love doing. That's my passion. That's what I love doing. But they take away from the time that I spend with my personal family because they're not from that school of thought of like, oh, go shoot your videos because Well,
that's a scheduling problem. That's a priorities, and then that's an organizational problem. That's not a balance problem.
Okay.
If you schedule, for instance, if you're really on your shit and you wake up at 7 o'clock every day, do you have it scheduled that you're going to get up, take a shower, and make breakfast, or you just get that done eventually because you have an appointment at like 10? A lot of people don't have it scheduled because they think normal daily tasks are a given. You have to do them. But if you don't, there's I think it's called the Polito's principle, something like that. Polito's might be a pizza place too, something like that.
Sounds like
But
a pizza place.
yeah, it is. It is up in Wisconsin. But there's a principle to where you will get a task done in the amount of time in which you allot to do that task.
Right.
So if I give something 15 minutes, hard 15 minutes, like say, I'm gonna be way more efficient and get it done in 15 minutes.
That laser focus.
Right. If I give myself an hour to answer emails rather than 15 minutes, I could probably get through more emails in 15 and 30 minutes than I would an hour because
you're more focused on it.
Because you can lollygag
exactly
in between.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to answer emails between 8 and 9 a.m. Well, I have until 9. Well, it's 8:30. I still have a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But if everything's scheduled, for instance, if you want to go to the gym in the morning, so many people say, oh, I don't have time to work out. Well, you do.
Yeah.
You're just not making time to work out.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
If I wake up at 7 o'clock and keep myself accountable to that, and then I go shower, and then I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to shower. And I'm not saying you have to have every 5 minutes scheduled, but let's say I get up at 7, showered, dressed by 7:30. Then from 7:30 to 8, I make breakfast, eat it. I can watch TV, whatever I want to do, because that's my breakfast time.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 8 o'clock, I leave for the gym. I'm back by 8:45. At 8:45 to 9 o'clock, I'm not doing shit. From 9 o'clock till 9:30, I'm answering emails. From 9:30 to 9:45, not doing shit. Like, you can inject a whole bunch of not doing shit things to give people time to do things. Like, there's a whole bunch of times I'll be working on emails, I'll be working on curriculum, I'll be writing, and then I literally say, okay, from 6 o'clock till 8:30, I'm going to watch Netflix with my girl. I'm going to cook with her. We're going to go get some food. And she was that was new to her at first. But then she realized that I have to allot my time to things that are important to me, and she's important to me, not the other way around. So many people will look at it like, oh, you got to scheduling me in. I'm scheduling you in because you're fucking important to me.
Yeah, that's real.
You know?
Right.
And so when you can do that and then step away and say, okay, hey, babe, this was a lot of fun. I'm glad that we got to spend time together. I'm going to go do some work, and I'm going to be done by 11 o'clock because I'm going to make a hard stop for you and me. Right? So many times you float through not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
You're trying to figure out what to do. Sorry, I'm getting away from the mic.
No,
You're trying to figure out what to do, and that's the problem. Schedule. That's what you need to do. And so that's how you work your family in. That's how you work. Now, granted, you can give yourself a whole day off.
Yep.
You could say Sundays I don't work. Tuesdays I don't work. Or afternoon on Wednesdays, I'm free to the world. That's when you do the spontaneous shit that you want to do.
Right.
That's when, you know that your family's always over at your mom's house on Wednesdays. So you say, you know what, at 3 o'clock, I'm done. I'm going to go over to my mom's house the rest of the day. That's when you play with your nieces and nephews. That's when you catch up with your brother. Schedule phone calls. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much that you could fit in when you really tighten up. And I'm not saying you life hack and you got to have everything. Like, you don't need to be a robot.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you have structure, when you wake up and make your bed first thing, you accomplish something before you done brushing your teeth.
Right.
Like, it's about that purpose. If you don't live a life of purpose, you're floating through life kind of letting things happen to you.
Yep.
But when you know your purpose and you do things, I'm not saying you have to do every little thing purposefully, but why did I post that on Instagram? What was the purpose of me posting that on Instagram? What was the purpose of me making a phone call to my brother? What was the purpose of me going to Walmart?
Just makes a little bit more sense
Yeah.
in the end. Sure.
Because then not only do you have clarity, what do you ever go to the grocery store or something and say, what did I come here for?
Yep. All the time.
That's life. I mean, look at your life like that. What am I living here for?
Yep.
What am I waking up for?
I feel like that's why I can't go on Twitter no more, man.
Yeah.
I'm about to tweet something like, why am I tweeting this?
That's it.
Why is this important?
It's not. It's
Exactly.
a distraction.
Exactly.
You know, we live in a society where the ADD monster, if you let it control your life, you're just going to be part of the cog. The distraction is what keeps you away from progress.
Mm-hmm.
Any action, any execution leads to progress. So if you answer 2 emails a day, well, that's 2 more than you would have.
Right.
You know, if you get off of Facebook for an hour and you do anything productive, you clean your camera lens, you know, you record, you test some audio so that you're a little bit more efficient the next time you're going to record a podcast.
Right.
Like learning, like, and that's another thing, like education junkies, knowledge junkies that go on YouTube and watch motivation and tutorials and then never do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different than buying a book and not reading it.
Right.
Buying a book gives you the serotonin and the dopamine release of accomplishing something without accomplishing anything. You have the book, you have all the knowledge there in that 200 pages or whatever it might be, but unless you read it and apply it, it's nothing. A book is fucking worthless unless you read it.
Yep.
Yep.
So that's the thing with the work-life balance is I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Oh, sorry.
Oop.
No, don't be sorry.
The dog just walked in.
Hey, the show's just getting started.
No, that's a dope answer, man. I really like that answer, and I never thought to think about it that way. But I mean, I guess that's one thing that I could personally work on too, is scheduling things a little bit better so it doesn't seem like it's work.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And never make your family feel like they're a burden.
Yeah.
To your success.
Right.
Unless they're physically holding you back.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if they're saying like, oh, what you're doing is stupid.
Yeah.
You need to cut out toxic people, no matter if it's your own mother.
Right.
Unfortunately, and a lot of people aren't willing to do that because I went to school with this guy. He's like a brother to me. Is he?
Right.
Would a brother tell you that what you're doing is stupid if it's not harming anybody? If it's if you're trying to use it as the avenue, as the way out of the average life or the life that you're not, it doesn't even need to be an average life. You could make $100,000 a year and still be miserable. Take a job for 50 and be happier.
Right. No, I 100%, man. I feel like my family is very supportive.
Yeah.
And I think Chuck also said the same. Very supportive. But one of the reasons we ended up like getting this house together is because we could accomplish so much more when we surround ourselves with people who have like-minded goals, right?
Bigger picture.
Exactly. And plus, when I see Chuck work, I'm like, damn, what am I doing? Like, am I really about to watch an hour of Netflix? Like, let me just do this instead, you know? So, yeah, 100%, man.
That's it.
I appreciate you being on the podcast, man.
I appreciate you having me.
I think we've hit the either hour and a half or 2 hour, man. We're somewhere.
We could keep it going.
Yeah, I like it.
But
148.
Do you want to let people know where they can find you on the internet?
Yeah, man. I mean, you could find me on YouTube. Just type in Adam Ivy, or it's youtube.com/Adam Ivy, Instagram Adam Ivy, Twitter Adam Ivy, AdamIvy.com. That's ADAMIVY. Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
Nice.
Sellmusic.com.
Cool, man. Well, we're gonna go ahead and put all your information down in the description down below for YouTube, for Instagram, for is it Instagram? Instagram, Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. But
I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next morning dinner.
Later, y'all.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen. In the goddamn refrigerator.
I sure am hungry.